All right, I want to give you a little bit of instructions and a way to look at how to use these cuisenaire rods. Cuisenaire rods are these guys right here. You will find them on your table. When we use cuisenaire rods, they show really good proportional relationships, but when we're dealing with percents, we can use them for that as well. Since we know certain things like 50% is 1/2, and we know 25% is 1/4. So what we can do is we can use these cuisenaire rods. So we're going to look at some of the examples that I've given you. To start off, though, let's look at one set of cuisenaire rods. The brown rod right here, this one, is equal to 4 red. So 1 red is 25%. 3 red are 75%. I could look at something like the green rod as a whole, dark green, and the dark green is equal to 3 red. So 1 red is 1/3 of the green. So we can use that. I could do something like this and start with the light purple one here. And if that was my one whole unit, then I have 4 whites. So that's 25%. That's 50%, 75%, 100%. I could use a red to represent 50%. So I can use these rods and trace around them. And then once I trace around this as a whole, I can fit this inside of it to make a 50%. So, for example, if I was looking to do 50%, I could use the purple, trace around it like this, draw in my lines, take my red, put it right there, draw a line right there, label 50% and label 100%. That's one way to do that with my purple. Now, I can also do that with others. For example, I could take the dark green, which is a little different size. I can trace around that, and that will give me my whole. There's 100%. And then I can use this green, the light green, to shade that in as 50%. Oops, forgot to shade that one. Okay, so I can use these for different things. So let me show you how we can use them for this, for example. Okay, so here's the one you have finished on yours, trying to find 6%. So I started with a brown rod. Put that on right there. Okay, and then I took my 4 reds and I set those there because those 4 reds covered a brown. So now I can take 1 red, and that is 25%. And 1 red is the same as 2 whites, so I'm going to use those 2 whites. So I'm going to cut my 25% in half, which gives me 12.5%. And then what I can do is take my 12.5% and cut that in half, so that'll be about 6. So that's how I set that as 6%. I just used my cuisenaire rods. Okay. On this one, I had 33%. That was the same as 1 red. So I set my 3 reds like that. And that was the same as my 1 dark green. So I used the dark green here to do the whole amount. And I used my 3 reds to get 1/3 and 1 red to get that. And the last example that I have is my 125%. So, in order to do my 125%, I chose to use a light purple. That's my 100%. And then I could put my 4 whites on. Each of those is 25% because it's 1/4. So I could mark that as 25% right there. And then I took that 25% and I added it to the end of my purple and got 125%. Okay? There we go. Good luck.